And Molly introduces us to a sculptor who left France to make her home in Des Moines. We show off her worldly creations in the artist's studio. Well, this morning, Molly is introducing us to a sculptor who left France to make her home right here in Des Moines. At 7:50, we show off her worldly creations in the artist's studio. We continue to showcase the wonderful collection of the Des Moines Art Center. See our latest piece in 52 works in 52 weeks after Molly takes us inside the artist studio.
From cubist to whimsical, Des Moines artist Annick Ibsen explores emotions through her artwork. I'm Molly Cooney. Coming up, we'll meet Annick in the artist studio.
Welcome back. It's now 7:47, 26 degrees out there. Matinka will show us what the forecast looks like in just a couple of minutes. But first, a new exhibit is opening in Iowa City this weekend by an artist who was born in France but calls Des Moines her home. Molly Cooney features her work in the artist studio.
She says her artwork is like a puzzle, filled with symbols, some whimsical. We are joined today with Annick Ibsen, and thank you so much, Annick, for letting us come see your beautiful sculptures and your paintings as well. Tell us a little bit about how you got started. Were you trained as an artist?
I was not trained as an artist. I actually studied business, and I worked in finance for 15 years or so. And when we came back from abroad with my husband and decided to raise a family in Des Moines, I decided to explore a medium that I didn't know anything about. I had played with paintings, you know, done some commissioned portraits and things like that, but I signed up for a class at the Des Moines Art Center, and it became a sculpture, became a passion, really.
What catches your eye? You've moved, now you do a lot of different, some have color, and now you've moved to some different forms as well.
I think I work in what I call great interruptions, and I see that as big steps. When I started, I was very much under the influence of a French artist who was a raku ceramic artist in southern France, and I was interested in the blacks and the contrast of the colors that came from this firing. I left that to go into all white, which is a lot of what you're seeing here, because I was more and more drawn to the shapes and to what the carving could create in terms of shadows. And that in itself creates a whole palette of colors. I just discovered sgraffito, which is this black and white carving technique, which is go back to the Greeks, and that sort of opened a whole flood of ideas.
And you have a very special art exhibit that you have designed specifically for the University of Iowa. Kisses. Tell us about this. How fun.
Yes, I started a year ago. I approached the University of Iowa City Hospitals for a temporary art exhibit, and I wanted to design art that would make people feel better while they were waiting in the hospitals. Something a little healing, which I've always been interested in the relationship between art and healing. I think art connects people. Just by virtue of doing that, art heals. So I thought that kisses was a very endearing theme. You know, if you see a couple hugging, if you see children blowing kisses, you have a little soft spot right there. And so I got in, and I've been exploring that theme.
And you have two children. How does that, I would imagine, inspire you as well?
Yes, I mean, they...
Talk about kisses.
I have a son who blows a lot of kisses when I leave him at school. And I think I am so inspired by family members, naturally friends, people, cultures that I've lived in, because I lived in Asia and Africa for many, many years. My dad was an oil engineer. And, you know, this evidently I'm very anchored in the figure, and it keeps coming back. I made a sculpture that's inspired by my sister. My sister was big into Pilates, and I felt, you know, I would make a sculpture about that. So
do you know where this is taking you next?
I'm not done exploring different media. I know that. I would like to go bigger and stronger. I feel clay is a wonderful medium up to a certain size. When you get to the 40-inch size, things get a little tricky. You encounter cracks more easily, it's harder to fit in the kiln, and I would like to go outdoor. And I don't personally believe that clay is the best medium for an outdoor sculpture. So I have been looking at concrete. I made a sculpture, a big 6-foot sculpture that's outside. That's got cold bronze application finish and painting, and it's a concrete structure. And I'm also looking at building differently. This particular sculpture, for instance, is a 3-part sculpture. You can take it apart, and you have sort of long tubes here, and I can disconnect that for you and show you. And it allowed me to do something, to make a sculpture that's easier to move, and that seemingly fits together very much like a puzzle. The composition and the engineering of what I do is probably more important than anything else.
Well, we'll have to just stay tuned and keep in touch. We'll see what develops for you next. Annick, thank you so much for letting us come today. Beautiful work. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
For KCCI, I'm Molly Cooney in the Artist Studio.
You can see the exhibit at the University of Iowa Hospitals in Iowa City now through April 15th. And for more details, check out her website. Pretty neat stuff.